The eternal question, what happens when we die? Death remains one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Across spiritual teachings and modern research, a surprisingly consistent picture emerges about what may happen when we die. This exploration examines renowned psychic Sylvia Brown's descriptions of the afterlife, what she calls the other side, the soul's transition at death, and reincarnation, alongside real near-death experience case studies and their common themes. The goal is to combine spiritual perspectives with scientific observations of near-death experiences, highlighting vivid first-person accounts of what people report seeing and feeling at the brink of death. Throughout, we'll see overlapping motifs of love, light, and continued existence beyond physical life, without delving into skeptical critiques. The other side as home. In Sylvia Brown's teachings, the afterlife is a beautiful realm she calls the other side. Far from a gloomy underworld, it is described as a place of love, learning, and growth, where souls are joyfully reunited with departed loved ones and continue to evolve spiritually. Brown emphasizes that the other side is dynamic, not static, a true home where life carries on with purpose and even fun. Souls arrive there to find themselves healthy, whole, and in an ideal state. Interestingly, Brown says that regardless of one's age at death, everyone looks about 30 years old on the other side, essentially in the prime of life. Physical appearances are somewhat malleable. Since prejudice doesn't exist in this paradise, spirits can even project different looks, such as different ethnic features or hairstyles, by thought, purely for enjoyment, while still being recognized by their unique spiritual identity. A world of beauty and peace. Brown's afterlife remarkably resembles Earth in its beauty, only perfected. She describes a world with no extreme weather or disasters, no rain, snow, or storms, just a gentle climate kept at a comfortable temperature with soft ambient light. There is no harsh night or darkness. The landscape includes all the natural and cultural wonders we cherish. Brown claims many beloved earthly places, such as great spiritual sites or beautiful regions, are lovingly replicated on the other side for souls to visit. There are also cities and structures in classic architectural styles. A magnificent Hall of Wisdom greets new arrivals, a pillared marble hall where souls undergo orientation and life review. Nearby stands the Hall of Records, a vast domed library said to contain all knowledge and records of history. The environment is rich in abundance and peace. Natural predators do not exist, and even animals that were dangerous on Earth live peacefully alongside all others. According to Brown, virtually every animal species, even dinosaurs and creatures we consider mythical like unicorns, exists in spirit on the other side, minus pests like insects. Life on the other side is fulfilling and busy in the best sense. Souls have homes by personal choice. There is no need for shelter, but many enjoy houses reminiscent of their favorites from Earth. They engage in work, study, creativity, and recreation that suits their talents and passions. Brown describes schools, libraries, and healing centers available for continued learning and self-improvement. There are even specialized areas devoted to various pursuits like research, the arts, or animal care. Importantly, love and joy permeate everything. Reunions with family and friends are at the core of the other side. The moment of crossing over is met with angels, spirit guides, and other loved ones joyfully welcoming the newly arrived soul home. There is no judgmental gatekeeping. Simply arriving in this realm means you belong and are embraced. Brown's inclusive view even notes that all faiths and cultures recognize this place. Familiar holy sites can be found there to provide comfort and continuity for those who revered them in life. Overall, Sylvia Brown portrays the afterlife as a loving homecoming. It's a vibrant world without pain, fear, or hatred, where souls live in peace, equality, and spiritual purpose surrounded by beauty. In her words, it is literally paradise, the true home our souls return to after the school of earthly life. Separation from the body. Death is not an end, but a transition, like walking through another door. She states that at the moment of death, we never lose consciousness or our sense of identity. Instead, our soul simply steps out of the physical body, which is likened to a vehicle we no longer need. Brown recounted her own near-death experience during surgery, describing how as soon as her heart stopped, she found herself floating free, feeling utterly alive and weightless. She was filled with peace, exhilaration, and a profound sense of timelessness, aware that all her worries were gone and that her loved ones would be fine. Only her body had stopped functioning. Her true self felt more alive than ever. Many who have clinically died and returned report a similar immediate release of fear and pain, replaced by calm awareness. Brown affirms there is no pain in death, and often a great feeling of freedom and relief as the spirit leaves the body. The tunnel and the light. A key feature of the death transition is the tunnel leading to a light. Brown explains that as her soul left her body, a tunnel rose up from her own being, not descending from the sky, but appearing right where she died. She notes the tunnel seemed to extend at an angle, conveying that the other side isn't far off in the cosmos, but interwoven with our world in another dimension. At the end of the passage, she saw a bright white light, radiating sacred brilliance and infinite knowledge. In front of that light, a loved one appeared to greet her, her grandmother waiting at the tunnel's exit in a beautiful flower-filled meadow. This scenario is remarkably common in spiritual literature and near-death experience reports. Brown asserts that nearly every soul experiences the same tunnel and light regardless of religion or background. The experience is overwhelmingly positive and intuitively familiar. Brown suggests we've all died and been reborn before, so at a soul level we recognize the transition and the tunnel is a welcome pathway home. Children, she notes, often experience crossing a gentle footbridge rather than a tunnel, as a dark tunnel could be frightening to a child's mind. In any case, a loving guide is always present at the end of the passage. No one dies alone. The silver cord. Many spiritual traditions reference a silver cord connecting the soul to the body. Brown confirms this idea, describing it as the tether that anchors us to life until it's time to transition. During out-of-body episodes, she perceived this shimmering cord linking her spirit to the body she had left behind. At the moment of final death, the silver cord releases. Until then, even in near-death states, the cord may keep one anchored if it's not truly time to go. Many near-death experiencers describe being pulled or snapped back into their bodies when revived, returning or moving on. If it isn't your time to die, something will halt the crossing. Brown describes being stopped as she reached for her grandmother's hand, and then being pulled back into life. She awoke unhappily in her body, feeling anger at leaving the peace of the other side. Many near-death survivors echo this reluctance to return. Brown advises that a dying person's spirit may still hear loved ones after clinical death and may be deciding whether to stay or go. Souls often linger briefly, observing from above before fully departing. When death truly occurs, the soul nearly always chooses to go to the light. Refusing the journey is extremely rare. Souls who become confused or fearful are not condemned. Compassionate helpers continually try to guide them home. Brown's portrait of dying is deeply comforting. Death does not feel like the end. Instead, the soul slips out, enters a tunnel toward divine light, and is greeted with love. There is awareness, peace, and joyous reunion at the gates of death. Reunion and life. Review. After emerging from the tunnel, souls arrive at the Hall of Wisdom. A joyful reunion unfolds with family, friends, pets, spirit guides, and ancestors. At some point, each soul undergoes a life review. Brown describes a chamber containing a device called the scanning machine, which plays a panoramic review of one's entire life. Every moment is reviewed from a higher perspective, including the emotional impact on others. The life review is not punishment. It is understanding. Time is irrelevant, and the soul absorbs its lessons instantly. The process is surrounded by unconditional love. After the review comes orientation, where guides help the soul integrate lessons and heal. Souls who lived traumatic lives receive special care until fully at peace. Purpose between lives. Souls then resume life on the other side, engaging in learning, creativity, and service. Children continue growing. Souls visit Earth, watch over loved ones, and offer guidance through subtle signs. Everything serves spiritual growth. When ready, a soul may choose to return to physical life. Reincarnation, the soul's journey. Sylvia Brown believed reincarnation is a compassionate design for spiritual evolution. Souls plan each life in advance, choosing lessons and challenges. Life is a classroom. Each incarnation offers growth. Souls reincarnate in groups, changing roles across lifetimes. Karma is balance, not punishment. Eventually, souls may choose not to reincarnate, instead serving as guides or teachers. Common themes of near-death experiences. Scientific research into near-death experiences reveals remarkable consistency across cultures. Common features include out-of-body awareness, peace and painlessness, movement through darkness toward light, encounters with loving beings, life review, reluctance to return. Many experiences include verifiable perceptions during clinical death, challenging material explanations of consciousness. People who return describe love beyond language, overwhelming peace and a sense of home. Most return transformed without fear of death and with a renewed focus on love. Conclusion: what happens when we die? Spiritual teachings and near-death research converge on a hopeful truth. Death is not annihilation. It is transition. It is return. Consciousness continues. Love endures. Life has purpose beyond form. If these accounts are accurate, then death is not something to fear, but something that reminds us to live fully, love deeply, and remember who we truly are. If this resonated with you, share it with a friend. Please like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Awaken, ascend, become.